At the Office, Cleveland's home for sports talk that never clocks out. From the latest headlines to heated debates, we're diving into everything sports. It's your hosts, Noah, John, and Erik.
Cleveland! Welcome back to At the Office, the show where we talk all things Cleveland sports. It's your host, Noah, joined by my co-hosts, John and Erik, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Boys, how we doing? John, why don't you start us off?
Doing well, man. It was good to see you guys for lunch. Weather's turning. You know, it was like 55 2 days ago, and now it was 92 when I got in my car today. So welcome to Cleveland. But, hey, man, I'm blessed. I'm glad to be with you. How you doing, E?
I'm good. I'm ready to roll. I'm glad that my boy Noah's back. I missed him 2 weeks away. That was too much. I'm curious, though, Noah, you told me yesterday that your air conditioning was out, and it finally heats up here. Is it fixed? I got to know.
It is fixed. We are rocking. They came around 3 p.m. today, so right before I got home from work. So life is good here in the new living space. Obviously, we got the new backdrop, the new dramatic lighting for whatever reason, because everything's kind of dark and gloomy in this apartment. But life's good, man. The Guardians are getting their get back right now on the Yankees. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling really good. John, how's life been treating you?
Good, man. I don't want to call it get back too soon. We know in baseball, especially in Yankee Stadium with the short porch, like unless it's final, it's not get back yet. But it's better to be up 3-0 than down 3-0. But
we are top 7 right now for all our live listeners out there. Listen, you can join us too at the office. Just give us a phone call or a text message. The phone number is 216-260-3433. Please go ahead, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. It helps us grow the brand and everything that we have going on a ton. Check us out on all socials at the office CLE. That's on TikTok, Instagram, X, you name it. We're on it. We're doing our thing. But let's talk some sports, man. And I want to transition us and get us started into what is going to be a fun little topic for us, I think. And that is talking about a draft bust, one of many draft busts for the Cleveland Browns. And that is one Jedrick Wills, Jed Wills for short. There was a report that came out yesterday or the day before that goes as follows. Free agent offensive tackle Jedrick Wills, who dealt with a lingering knee injury last season, is planning to sit out most or possibly all of the upcoming season to fully recover and get back to 100%. Wills, the former Browns top 10 pick, has drawn interest from multiple teams and is still just 26 years old, but he believes this time off is the best move for the long-term future of his career. What are your reactions of that? Because I think Cleveland has a completely different reaction than some other larger media sources and sites might say. John, I asked you how you were doing, so you can hold your tongue for a minute. Erik, I'm gonna put 30 seconds on the clock.
You asked me how I'm doing twice, but I'll let it slide.
I was trying to get you a little more in there, talking about what you got going on in life, and you were just like, "Yeah, Cleveland." Anyway,
I got you. I missed the cue. All right, that's on me. E, what do you think about Jed?
We're starting strong, boys. I think that this is dumb. It is pure laziness. Listen, I can't fault the guy for wanting to get healthy if that's his true intention. But the best way of getting healthy, as silly as it sounds, is by being on an NFL team. You have the best doctors, the best medical staff, the best training that you can possibly have in the world. You're telling me he's going to do better on his own? He's not going to make it back to the NFL. He's done. Write him off. It's a waste.
John, you ready, man?
I'm ready to go. Listen, I pretty much echo Erik's sentiments. The only thing I would stop short of is saying he's done in the NFL. One thing you can never teach is size, and men of his girth don't grow on trees. So
men of his girth?
Yeah.
No diddy. Pause.
Well, we're clipping that.
All right. Well, that's my 30 seconds, folks. He's big as hell. I just think he'll be back in the NFL. But the one thing I thought, I said this to you guys, this is just a Browns thing to do. Even if he's not fully under contract or wasn't going to come back, like how many other teams are like, hey, we got a guy just taking a sabbatical in the middle of his NFL career? It just seems like a very Cleveland thing to happen.
He is a free agent, to be fair. I mean, he's not a Browns player, but
no, that's what I'm saying. Even though he's not under contract, like he last played for us and now he's off.
Let me get my 30 seconds in here real quick, just because I think there's a little bit of a different angle I want to take here. And that is, how the hell has anybody that has been on the Cleveland Browns roster and watched Deshaun Watson's career fizzle out after taking a 1.5-year break think, oh, you know what would be good for my career? If I took a 1.5-year break, because if you don't remember, he was hurt for half of last season. I agree with Erik. His career is absolutely done. He's viewed as lazy nationally, and it's only getting worse with this report. Jedrick Wills, I was excited to have you as a Cleveland Brown. When we drafted you, I thought you were a pretty decent bet to be a good tackle in the league. Pretty lazy, man. Pretty lazy.
I think you hit the nail on the head, too. Taking time off, and that's what I was getting at. Coming back from that to play professional sports isn't easy. While I agree with you, John, that size, you can't build that, or you can't, you're just born with that. Getting those live reps and first team reps and rehabbing with a team, I think it's indispensable. And it's a long road uphill. I'm not saying he can't do it, but since we've seen his work ethic, I think it's pretty unlikely.
I will say one thing is that we're not losing Joe Thomas or Anthony Munoz. I'm not going to make too big a deal out of it because dude was a penalty and holding machine, depending on what part of what season you looked in on, and he never quite lived up to expectations, even though he was progressing. Like, I don't know. I think we'll be fine in the long term. I think if this was Joe Thomas in his prime, it's way bigger news. But still, I don't think he's lazy. I will disagree with that. I think he's doing what's best for in his mind, best for his career and best for his body. I wouldn't fault somebody for that. I just disagree. I agree with both of you. Playing ball, staying on the team, keeping in the locker room with the fellas, probably a better move.
But have you seen some of his reps, man? You don't remember some of the plays where he'd get beat around the edge and he'd just go, all right, next play, after he watches Joe Flacco or I almost said Kenny Pickett. He hasn't taken a snap for us yet. TBD coming soon. DTR, whoever, Deshaun Watson, get sacked 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. There's a reason he has the lazy mantra about him.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if the guy likes football. And if he doesn't like football, that's okay. He made his 30-some mil being a top 10 pick, and now he can go do whatever he wants. I think he has a Twitch channel or something like that. Go play some Call of Duty. Go play some video games. Do your thing, bro. But
let's be clear, though. He's got about 10 mil in the bank. I mean, you got to pay your agent. You got to pay your taxes. He doesn't have as much money as you think. If he wants money, then he should be playing football.
As I do often on this show, I speak in hyperbole. Hyperbole? Is that the right word I'm looking for?
Yes, it is.
Hyperbole.
You keep saying
hyperbole is the word I'm looking for, ladies
John,
and gents.
from now on, we're just going to say, bingo, got it.
Yeah, if you like it, I love it.
I'm going to work on a ding.
In a hyperbole, as I often do here on this show. So...
like Tech
you guys
Mobile.
threw me off of what I was trying to say. When I spoke about his money, though, I was obviously speaking in hyperbole. Gentlemen, anything else you got to say on the Jedrick Wills situation other than he's lazy and stick a fork in it, it's over with?
If he has I didn't know he had a lazy mantra. I believe you. I will say, Noah, like if you said, how many times did he get beat, and then go, okay, well, on to the next play. But you could tell us this better than I could. If you're an offensive lineman, once you're beat, not like halfway beat, but you could recover. Once you are beat, the only way to stop the guy is to commit a penalty. You're either going to block him in the back, hold him, tackle him, trip him. There's no real way to stop a defensive end who's already beat you from getting to the quarterback. But
there's effort involved here, right? You're trying to at least throw a chip to keep him going. That kind of thing is more so what I mean. You get beat off the edge, you don't even put a hand on him, and then you just kind of throw your hands up and shake your head and go, well, let me help Flacco up, or let me help DTR up. It's lazy. It's lazy O-line play, and it shows a lack of care, in my opinion. But what do I know? I was a D3 backup. But go ahead.
I agree with exactly what you said.
No, are you hearing Erik?
Yeah, Eric's cutting out for me as well right now. He's cutting in and out, which is very interesting. I'm going to take us quickly to our ad break. Not our ad break, but our ad read, so Erik can try to figure out his audio issues. And
I think I
our
got
ad,
it.
you are back. You are back indeed. Our channel is sponsored by D&D Meadery. Derek and Dominic, two twin brothers who grew up right here in Northeast Ohio, up the road in Madison, now craft their mead in Menor. This stuff is delicious. This stuff is fanatical. This stuff is all of the proper verbiage that you want to use, all of the hyperbole, if you will.
Wait,
John
I
is
wasn't
the
ready.
biggest. What? John is the biggest fan.
Nailed it.
There you go. John is the biggest fan of this stuff. John, tell him about all the different flavors and mixtures and things that you make with this stuff.
I've made Manhattans with it. I've made bourbon cocktails and used the honey one for the honey syrup. I've drank it straight. I drank it on the rocks. The other thing that's cool about this, I feel like there's a movement in like going old school. We talked about it at lunch today. People like vinyl, even though records haven't been in forever. Like I grew up on CDs, and we talked about iPods. This is like a vintage kind of thing. This is mead. Like it's one of the oldest brewing and distilling techniques in human culture. So it's kind of cool. It's like you're drinking a piece of history. So the nerd in me kind of likes it too, because I'm like, oh, this is what, the peasants in the dark ages used to drink.
I actually got an email from them today, not them directly, but they now have a newsletter if you're signed up through what they have to offer. And they listed out some of the different flavors that they now have to offer at D&D Meadery. And I'm trying to pull it up right now just to give them a little extra plug. And here it is. We have the blueberry blackberry. We have the strawberry raspberry. We have the traditional. We have the red apple. We have the maple syrup. There are multiple different flavors out there on the shelf for you to try. And if you use code @the-office CLE, you get 5% off. Buy 2 bottles, get a free shot glass. This stuff is delicious. You should definitely go check it out. Again, dndmeadery.org for all of your mead needs. Please drink responsibly and only at the age of 21 or over. Perfect. Nailed it.
I gotta order some new flavors, guys. I have some room over here. I think I could put a shelf and put some of those bottles when I'm done. John can probably lend some since he has about 50, but hearing like all the flavors, because I've only had the honey wine.
I've not had maple syrup. That's next. That's
strawberry raspberry. That sounds good.
Yeah. Matt actually said the maple syrup is pretty good, so I'm excited to try some of the new flavors. I should go over to the downtown liquor store after this, and well, not after this, but eventually, and check out, because that's where I initially found these guys and created the relationship that we have with them today. But that is all fine and dandy, and we want to say thank you again to D&D. But I would like to get us to our next topic, which is Around the Water Cooler. It is a nice, shorter type of segment that we have introduced here on the page to kind of hit some of the local news, some of the stuff that we want to hit on, but maybe isn't worth, the full 20, 30, 40 minutes sometimes that we go into in some of our other topics. And we had yet another Browns OTA today to break down and talk about a little bit. So, gentlemen, let's hit some headlines, some news. And first, I want to play a little game with you. Have you guys seen the catch drama that happened today at practice?
No. What was the catch drama?
All right. Well, for our audio-only listeners, it is going to go quiet here for about 30 seconds, so hit that little skip forward button. But for our video viewers, here is the play.
No.
So I ask, gentlemen, was it or was it not a catch?
I saw a catch. I'd have to see it again, but I was seeing a catch.
John?
Yeah, I agree. They called it a catch, I believe. I mean, his toe did look like it was close to the white, but this is OTAs. It's not even training camp, let alone preseason. We don't have 72 cameras on this thing. from that view, if I'm the umpire on the back line, yeah.
Can you throw it up there one more time, Noah?
I'll throw up the still image to show you that this was, in fact, not a catch. He only had 1 foot down when he had complete control of the football.
This is wait. This is the foot you think he has down?
Yeah. So see how he just now has full control of the football in his gloves.
I see it now because it's a still, but he had full control and his other foot was down. I thought the argument was, is this toe out of bounds or inbounds? It's definitely a catch.
2 feet. The way the angle of the pass was, I thought he was like going towards an end zone kind of plane, or is that supposed to be the back of the end zone?
It was the back of the end zone. He was catching it in the back of the end zone. And to be fair, all of the reporters that were there in person, as well as the coaching staff, decided after further review that it was not a touchdown. So I just want to play a little game with you guys. But let me open the floor. What did you guys see in OTAs that excited you today? What did you see that, maybe made you scratch your head a little bit? I definitely got a lot I want to say, but I open the floor to you guys. John, why don't you kick us off?
It's kind of one of those things for me. We talked about it. It's silly season, right? Guys are in shorts and T-shirts and nothing but helmets playing practice and 7-on-7. But I was looking at the completion rates and who got the most snaps. Now, I don't know if you have that available, but the thing that always jumps off the page to me is in a team that has 5 quarterbacks rostered-ish, depending on how you count Deshaun, seeing who gets the most reps and who's getting the most time with the ones and who has the most pass attempts, regardless of completion, is always interesting to me. So I'm not so much looking for how crisp and perfect everybody looks. That's going to change. They have time to gel. It gives you insight into who the coaching staff thinks is going to be leaning towards starter because it's the person who's getting more of the reps. And I always find it interesting that even though they list the entire list in the order that they provide, usually the guys at the bottom get more reps. So the things that stand out to me are like how many reps are Shedeur getting versus Flacco, to give you a sense of A, who they want to spend the most time on, and then B, who might be our starter in the fall.
Yeah, let me give you some background on that. I just didn't want to pull the graphic up while you were talking since it always covers you because you're in the center. It is to note that all of the quarterbacks today got reps with the first team except Shedeur Sanders. And Joe Flacco took the least amount of reps on the kind of mindset that he's a vet and we know what's going on. So here is this week's QB stat tree from OTAs. The fact that this is a graphic still irks me a little bit, but I created it nonetheless. We have all of the combined plays between 11-on-11 and 7-on-7, so the competition drills at the end of the season. And you can kind of see where the rep splits were and how everybody performed. Erik, John, any reactions?
It's so tough to actually bring anything of substance out. I think John's waving to tell you to take the graphic down. There's not much you can really glean here. The thing that stood out to me that I liked is that some of our backs were getting reps in the passing game. So several of our running backs, 3 of them, in fact, caught passes. I like to see that. It makes us more dynamic. We know what they can do in the backfield, but coming out of the backfield in a pass-heavy scheme potentially is kind of exciting to me. From the quarterback play, yeah, I'm not too worried. The offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, said that the who's going to get reps and when they get reps is going to remain a fluid situation. And right now is the most time for reps in general. So I wouldn't put too much stock into it. I did see some things from the defense that I liked. A couple different guys would have had sacks if it was actual live play. There were some interceptions, so that's always nice. And D coordinator says that Mason Graham's coming along nicely, so that's another nice thing to see. So there's some positives coming out of camp that I like.
Something else that I didn't know, there's only, I did some quick math. I might have been a little off. There's only 56 total offensive plays in an entire day. It seems to me like with 1s and 2s and multiple fields, they could run more. Oh, those were passing attempts. I'm sorry.
So those are passing attempts and okay. Pass-specific drills, 11-on-11, 7-on-7. They're only really passing right now because they're not in full pads, so they're not running a rushing play on team drills. If you've been in a structure of a college pro style level of practice, this makes sense because you get 10 to 15 reps at the end with your ones, then you get like 10 to 15 with your twos, and then like 5 if there's time left with the threes, so on and so forth. Typically,
Noah, did you play college football?
Okay, you're just being an ass to be an ass. Some of the other stuff.
Twice this show.
Some of the other stuff that went on today during OTAs that I thought was important was there was an interview with Tommy Rees, who said, "You can all see them winning the job. Yes, we are really early in the competition trying to get them ready to go." And I think this brings up another point that I know Erik wanted me to throw up and talk about, which is this report that came out today. Erik, if you want to kind of dive into this just to give myself a break.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the report came out that people inside the building can see that Shedeur could be the starter. I think that's good and bad news. I think it's good news in the sense that they're seeing leadership qualities and things out of this kid that make it possible where you could see him under center. That's great news as Browns fans. What worries me a little bit here is that once again, we're putting cart before horse and we're setting the kid up for failure. And that's what worries me the most because, like it or not, if we have some bad games under Flacco, if we have or whoever, they're going to be calling Shedeur Sanders' name in the stadium and in media and on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. That's what we do as Cleveland fans. And I'm a little nervous for that in the sense that I don't want to throw him to the wolves. We've seen how we've ruined quarterbacks before. But at the same time, we also took a rookie to the playoffs, a guy we should have kept. So who knows? This guy could be the limit, but it's interesting.
See, I've been thinking about this in a different light just a little bit, in the fact that I think Joe Flacco is 100% going to start the season. I think all three of us are probably in agreement that that's going to happen. And I know a lot of people complained about it when the schedule came out. The hardest part of our season is the first 5, 6, 7 games. I don't remember off the top of my head. So basically, let's go run with the veteran out there to get past some of the hard stuff and then let the rookies learn. Honestly, it kind of worked in the favor of the process of getting those rookies out a little bit later, like you tend to when you're developing a guy that isn't a bona fide Andrew Luck level prospect. You know what I'm saying?
But it works out when you have the guys that are in there who don't. Sorry, go ahead. There was a delay. My bad.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I lost my train of thought. Go for it, bud. We'll come back.
That's all right. Do you not get the feeling, though? I get it that Joe Flacco's the veteran presence, and he stated publicly that he wants to be the guy. He wants to compete, which I respect that. But it feels to me, and I could be way off base here, but it feels to me more like college. And what I mean by that is this coaching staff, I don't think at this point is afraid to do what they think is going to be best. Whether that's starting Shedeur, whether that's starting Flacco, I don't think he's won the job just because he's a veteran presence by any stretch. It feels more like Ryan Day making a decision next year, and it's in Ryan Day's hands. That's what this Browns team feels like to me. I don't know if you guys disagree, but I don't think it's the typical, hey, this guy's definitely the starter, that's why we picked him up. I think it's up in the air.
I do too. It drives me crazy. And what I think is I regained my thread there. What I don't like about this, Noah said, hey, if you have Flacco start, he kind of takes the brunt of the shitty part of the schedule where everybody's really tough. And then we bring in a rookie. It kind of works. It kind of works for player development. I see what you're saying. It sucks for people who actually want the team to win. We're going to throw out a 41-year-old to get his head caved in so we can give a 21-year-old a starting quarterback job in the NFL. That's not a recipe for 11 wins. Tell me if you think the Chiefs are thinking, what we should do is start somebody to get their head caved in for 8 games and then switch them. The other 2 things that come to mind are just 2 quick quotes. One I think was Bill Parcells. He said, if you think you have 2 quarterbacks, you really have none. We think we have 4, so we're doubly screwed. And the other thing is that that's a saying is there's no more popular man in Cleveland than the backup quarterback, and you're looking at starting the season with 3 to 4. So get ready for drama and ridiculousness, because unless whoever the starter is starts 6-0 and throws for 4 touchdowns and 400 yards every week, somebody somewhere is going to be saying, give Dylan Gabriel a chance, give Shedeur Sanders a chance. And it's fun for drama and news and before the season, but by the time you get to week 2, ESPN going live to Berea to figure out which of your 87 quarterbacks is going to play gets so old so fast. So you're not wrong that for developing the young guys, this is a cool kind of way like that might give them a shot. But overall, as a fan, am I excited about this? Absolutely not.
And I think I articulated it the wrong way, where I put it in a frame where it was, this is for sure going to happen and it's the best thing that's going to happen. No, if Shedeur goes out there, I don't want Stefanski to just table him. If Shedeur looks like he could be the guy week 1, let Shedeur be the guy week 1. Put the best player out there and let it rip. Because if you have the guy and you got him in the 5th round, and now you're going into next year with 2 first-round picks to add to the offensive line, to add to the receiver room, to add to the secondary potentially, so you can move on off of some of these guys that are not getting older but are moving off of their rookie contracts. I think it makes sense. So you guys took my point and pushed it to the finish line, in my opinion.
Guys, I feel like I'm losing my mind here because I really think this season's going to turn out a little rosier than most people have. Most media outlets have us taking the number 1 pick again next year. And I think that's crazy.
Pro Football Focus had us ranked as the worst roster in the NFL. If you use their own ranking system from last season and rank the players that have come back, we're like 19th. Their own ranking system. So what does that tell you?
It's more than the sum of its parts, though.
Can you bet on like just making the playoffs? Like, can I put $10 on the Browns just making it?
Yes.
There's a prop bet for whatever the hell you want to do. You just got to find the book that has it.
Don't do it.
I think I might put $10 on it. I mean, I'm not saying we're a playoff team. That's for sure. But I think we're a middling. Like, I think we could squeak out 6 or 7 wins potentially. Is that insane? Maybe it is. The schedule's tough,
in my view, it's a little insane. We already did shake on dumplings at 6.5 wins or something as the over under, and I feel great about that.
We got
to find that they could make the playoffs. It does sound crazy to me, but what do I know? They could surprise them.
Was it one order of dumplings or multiple?
It was one order. Gentlemen, what else do you?
What's his name too?
Yeah, Tim. Gentlemen, you guys got anything else you want to cover OTA wise?
I got one.
What's up?
Noah, we always kick it to you as our resident football guy for a little in-depth behind-the-scenes look at how this kind of stuff works. So I thought up a little segment. Didn't ask either of your permission. We're going to do it anyway. I thought about naming it as in honor of your offensive line pedigree, Noah. I wanted to give it a name befitting a former NCAA athlete. Or NAIA. I don't know where Worcester is, but
NCAA.
Okay, I thought so.
Only because they changed it.
Yeah, right. I thought about the Pancake Pantry, Browns beef, or Hogs and Dogs. Shout out to the old Redskins, now Commanders. Dogs in the trenches, snap, crackle, and block. There's so many good offensive linemen.
How many of these came from ChatGPT?
ChatGPT? Is that hyperbole?
No, you gotta give them a name. I said ChatGPT. That's you get where I'm going with it.
I do now.
It was a fumble of a joke. That's what it was.
3 of them came from ChatGPT. 1 came from a Google search, and 2 I made up, which is one I landed on.
Okay.
Which, since it's early season, you'll get the pun. A quick mini segment called Snap Judgments. Boom, boom, ching. The question for you, Noah, is: what do you think about the Browns' offensive line? How are we looking in the trenches? We used to have the best offensive line coach in the NFL. We know it starts and ends up front when it comes to run game and passing. Tell us how the big eaters are looking.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, Snap Judgments.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you kicking it to me that way. I like the name. I like the throw over. I got 2 notes on the offensive line. The main one being doubling back on the DeJuan Jones take that I had last week of he looks great. They talked to him about that. He had a press conference after OTAs today, and he had an exact quote of, "I took better care of my body, just lost a lot of body fat, and I pride myself on that. I'm happy about that. If you look at the picture, I didn't pull it, but you should go find it on Twitter. My boy's looking good for an offensive lineman, and I'm really excited. I hope this is good for his injury takes. I think it's good for his movement to play left tackle and be potentially a left tackle of the future and many, many years for this team. It gives me some hope. It's good things to see right now.
You know what gives me a lot of I don't know if John wanted me to answer this too, but I'm going to anyway. The fact that Joel Bitonio is raving about the O-line coach, Mike Bloomgren. He is so excited. He feels like they have their identity back as an O-line unit. As a veteran guy, I don't think he's the type that just talks to blow smoke. That's what gets me excited.
It does get me excited as well. I think there's going to be some good things coming out of this run game. I know we're talking offensive line, but Judkins has looked great. He's in fantastic shape. I'm so excited to see that Buckeye run all up and down Lake Erie. I got one more O-line note, and then I'm going to kick us to commercial break if y'all are cool with that. Yeah? Perfect.
Yeah. Running back always were good in training camp. This might be a hot take for another show, but pound for pound, strength for strength, skill set for skill set, I think running backs are probably the most talented athletes in the NFL. So they all look real good in tight shorts and tearaway jerseys because they're chiseled. Like, they are absolute monsters. Like, look at Derek Henry.
That's a completely valid point.
Yeah.
Completely valid point. But still, nonetheless, excitement because he is a Buckeye and he is now a Brown. The last thing I got that I think is interesting is Zach Zinter, the Michigan guard that we drafted last year. He played some guard all over for us. He got some center reps today. And he is a sneaky one to potentially take Ethan Posic's spot and them cutting Ethan Posick. He had rave reviews coming out of college until he broke his leg. I think it was the Ohio State game. Had a shaky rookie year. He was all over as a swing guard, interior offensive lineman, basically. Had the rookie blues, but he's put on some good weight in terms of muscle and that kind of thing. And a year after the horrific injury that happened to his lower extremity, I think he could be a potential good fit at the center position for the Cleveland Browns. Really excited to see what he has going on. John, I want to say thank you again for kicking it over so I could talk a little fat guy ball for a little bit there.
This has been the first edition of Snap Judgments. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
And speaking of regularly scheduled programming, we're at the half-hour mark, so I'm going to take us to a quick ad break. When we come back, we're going to be talking NBA Finals. We're going to talk about the Cavs and their crazy trade rumors that have been blowing up all over the internet. We have a lot more fun topics in store for you guys. This is At the Office, and we will be back after these commercial messages. And we are back at the office talking all things Cleveland sports. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, go subscribe to us on YouTube. It helps us grow the brand a ton here at the office. Check us out on all the other socials as well. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, you name it, we're on it. We are posting on there. We have content going out, shorts, clips, all of that kind of thing, all the damn time. Check out attheofficecle.com to get yourself some lovely merch like this mug I've been sipping out of. I won't do the fake sip that we do because I finished my orange Gatorade. You can get a t-shirt like that. John's got the vintage style with the old show name underneath it. But I digress. And lastly, shout out Fans First Sports Network for everything they do in supporting us, grow our content, support our content, letting us write articles, have ad placements on our show. We really appreciate everything that they do in helping us. Gentlemen, the NBA Finals are here, and it's a matchup that I don't think a lot of people would have ever predicted going even into the playoffs, let alone the season, let alone the preseason, let alone last season, let alone what have you. One of the teams makes sense. OKC has been poised to make it for a while. And the Pacers are the hot team in the NBA right now. So I ask you guys, what are your predictions? What are your thoughts? We have a finals game tomorrow night at 8:30. What a horrible time placement for the first finals game.
Terrible.
For two teams that are pretty Eastern. Is OKC Central Time?
Yeah, they're not
Yeah, but
there's middle of the
still
US
terrible.
but it's still
Yeah, it's still not good. It should have been 7:30. I digress. I don't know who started last. Who wants to go first? Is anyone feeling going first?
I think I went first last time, but even if I didn't, why don't you get us kicked off?
Sure. What do I expect? Who do I I don't know. I actually think this is up in the air. I know that OKC are opening as strong favorites. Obviously, they've blown past just about everybody in the regular season. But I got to tell you, I'm not sure I've seen a team that wants it more than the Pacers do. Every team they've faced, they've gone out and they've played their style of ball and they've been aggressive and they've gotten the job done, and they've done it with authority, and they've done it in ways that you didn't really question. They beat the brakes off of our Cavs. They did the same thing against New York. This is a team that they're a tough matchup. It's hard to match up against them in their physicality. That said, OKC on the other side, I mean, talk about a team that has just been dominant. SGA is one of the best players in the league right now.
MVP.
The thing that he might be. The thing that that I find really interesting about this matchup is that the star players from both teams came to those teams by way of Paul George. He was the one that was involved to get SGA, the trade directly to get SGA in OKC, and then, of course, Tyrese Halliburton in Indiana. So I think that's kind of interesting. What do I expect to see? Probably not very strong numbers when it comes to TV. That's going to be my guess with small market teams. They both are really good in the mid-range shooting. I think that'll be a battle there. I think it's going to be who has the hot hand, and I wouldn't be surprised if this series goes to 7. To be honest with you, I would. If I have to pick, I'm gonna.
We'll do prediction. We'll do predictions at the end. We'll do it in order so we can all kind of put it together. John,
it's
what
back
are your
for
thoughts,
1 week, and the power just
head's huge. Go ahead.
The thing that I think of when I come to this series, the thing I think of when it comes to this series is that Indiana is a team of destiny. I don't believe in it very often. You see it sometimes in the NFL, rarely, sometimes in baseball. Like the Red Sox coming back from down 3-1 against the Yankees is one of the ones that comes to mind. But I'm not going with logic on this one. Logic says OKC, but logic said Knicks in 6 or 7. Logic said Cavs in 4 or 5. And the Pacers have defied the odds and outplayed their opponent every step of the way. I don't know why at this point, after seeing how dominant they've been in the Eastern Conference, they only lost 1 game per series until the ECF, and they only lost 2 to the Knicks. Counting a team like that out just because OKC is better on paper would be foolish. So I'll save my prediction for the prediction part. But what I'm looking for here is to see if Indiana can keep the Magic ride alive, because there's no way in hell anybody could say that team is more talented than the Cavs, or that team was more battle-tested than maybe a team like the Knicks. They even got lucky, even though they played really well, that Boston had a key injury to Tatum. But like this feels more and more like a team of destiny every time they play a game and win a game. And the bet against Indiana right now, in my mind, is silly. So what I'm looking for is to see, can they keep the Magic ride going, or if this is the end of the line and a hell of a run. But I don't think as good as OKC is that they scare anybody, and Indiana's the tougher team, even if they're not the more skilled team. And I've seen Indiana out-tough a lot of teams in the playoffs this year so far.
Let me ask you guys a quick question, because you make a good point. My question to the Pacers would be, have they been tested? They've had a finals run that, for all intents and purposes, they haven't really been tested along the way. I mean, they had us in control pretty much the whole way, whereas it went to 7 games, OKC versus Denver. They kind of got that blood in their mouth taste. I wonder if that matters at all.
Yeah. I'm curious. John, you're muted right now, just so you know.
Sorry, does it not matter? I think that's a good point, E.
He comes up
doesn't
and he's like,
matter.
I'll let you know.
It does not matter. I'll raise your question. I want to know because it seems like both of you guys are on the side of rooting for the Pacers. Do you have a team you're rooting for? Is it the Pacers?
Yeah. I would
Yeah,
say so.
why-
I'm not going to be devastated if they lose, but yeah, at this point, I'm rooting for the Pacers. You?
Yeah, I think I lean that way, even though I was upset that they beat us. I don't hate Halliburton. I don't know why. I think I like the fact that he's been underrated. They're the underdogs. They're the most they're the most, I'm trying to think of the word.
Underrated?
No, they are
Oh.
the most
the biggest underdog.
they are the most underfavored team in like the last 20 years in terms of their matchup. The spread right now, the series odd
gave you the word and you still made one up, but I love it.
I wanted to do it my own damn self, man. I wanted to do it my own damn self. The series odds, the Thunder are minus 450, the Pacers are plus 340. I don't know if I have full faith that the Pacers can pull it out on a 7-game series. You talk about, defensive rating. The Thunder are monsters when it comes to defensive rating. We're talking 106.9 first in the NBA during the regular season, 106.2. They turned it up a little baby notch in the playoffs. Pacers were 14th and 9th when it comes to playoff and regular season defensive rating. But the difference here is, and the reason I think the Pacers do have a chance is the all-important pace stat that has run with this entire Pacers run, because they are one of the top teams in terms of pace in the NBA. 102.5 in the regular season, 100.2 in the playoff, first in the playoff, mind you. And the Thunder are a little bit underneath that. I think the Thunder can keep up with the Pacers' pace, but we've seen this Pacers team thrive in chaos. They have thrived in chaos, and as the underdog, they also the entire playoff run, and honestly, since the All-Star break. I don't know, man.
It's interesting though, because OKC, you got an elite defense that also is really dominant in transition. So yeah, I can't pick. I'll tell you this. Listen, to both OKC and Indiana fans out there listening, if you want your team to win, all you have to do is Venmo me, because what will happen is I'll take half your Venmo money, I'll put it on the opposite team, so your rival, and the other team will definitely win, because anytime I bet, that's what's going to happen. So whoever sends me more money on Venmo, I can guarantee that your team will win.
That is funny.
It is funny.
That
it's
is
also
really
one
funny.
hell of a year to have the
Facts,
two smallest markets. Like, if you're an Oklahoma City fan, 118,000 people in the whole city or whatever. But
Right.
It's a little bigger than that.
It is. I say that. And I shouldn't be throwing darts. Cleveland is the world's biggest little city. Like, we have a small man complex sometimes too. But it is funny that it's like Boston versus the Lakers, you can't get any action. And it's like, hey, everybody who's out there, send me money for Indiana versus OKC.
There's 702,000 of them. If they all send me $1, then I'll put half of that on Indiana
And pocket the rest.
Well, yeah, I'm making your team win. I got to make something from it. If Indiana does end up winning, sorry, I'm not refunding you. But yeah, $1. That's all it takes. For $1, you can save your team.
Quick
I
behind
hope
the
the
scenes,
Angels starts playing.
A shout out too I have 2 cousins and my aunt and uncle who live in a city called Marion, Indiana. It's kind of halfway between Indianapolis and Fort Wayne. The reason I bring them up is because they're big Pacers fans and have been for my whole life. So I'm kind of rooting for them for that family tie because I have no tie to OKC. But my aunt was a teacher for like 35 years in Marion, and Zach Randolph was one of her students, and then she had Zach Randolph's son as well. A quick NBA reference.
Zach Randolph was like the least likely, I don't know if you call him superstar, but he was good. He's an all-star player.
Yeah, I mean, he had 3 or 4 year stretch there where he was as nasty as they
really. But you look at him and you go, he's not the guy, and he was the guy there for a stretch.
He was.
So we went through our thoughts. We went through our takes. We went through why we kind of favor the Pacers. We went through why the Thunder's winning this series and being favored makes sense. I mean, they are the best team in basketball, bar none. They have been. What is your prediction? What is your prediction, gentlemen? How many games? Who wins the series? John, what's your prediction?
It's tough, but I'm going to go with this and stand by it. I went back and forth as to who was going to win in how many games. My prediction is going to be Pacers in 6.
6.
Yeah. I think they're going to do what they usually do. Everybody's going to know everything and say everything, and we're all going to feel real confident in Oklahoma City, and then Indiana's going to come out and win 118 to 101 in the first game. And that line that you talked about, that big gap's going to close, and everybody's going to be like, oh, my God, the Pacers. And then, people start getting tight and nervous. It's the NBA Finals. OKC hasn't been there before. You got a second home game that's almost a quote-unquote must-win, and then you got to go on the road. But I think if the Pacers get it done, I don't think they get a Game 7 done in OKC. I think they got the momentum. I think they're the team of destiny. So if the Pacers get it done, they close it out at home. They still won in OKC and hold home serve or home court. And I think if I literally had to bet an outcome right now, I feel best about Pacers in 6. Next best would be OKC in 7, but I'm going to say Pacers in 6.
Erik, what are you thinking, man?
I'll keep it shorter since my guy had a 1,000-word essay for a prediction. I'm just giving you shit, John. Listen, I'm going to go Pacers in 7, but my real prediction will be whoever takes game 1 wins the series.
Hey, that's crazy. I was going to be my hot take. You son of a bitch.
Oh, really? That's a couple times I've stolen your hot take.
I almost made that my take for this, but he asked for a pick. I was like, I'll give a pick, and then I'll do – literally, I was going to say whoever comes out and wins game 1 wins the NBA Finals.
Well, you got a whole nother topic to think of your hot take.
I'll figure it out. That's the 3rd time that's happened. That's kind of wild.
It is wild.
So we have Pacers in 6. We have a non-answer cop-out. So I'll give a real answer.
I said Pacers in 7.
Oh, did you?
And then I said, but I think who takes
whoever
game
wins
1 wins
game 1.
it. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Pacers in 7. That was my prediction in my head as John was going through his take and watching your reaction. My prediction is OKC in 7. I love a good Cinderella story. I love that they're both small market teams. I love a lot of the stuff that's going on just because of my relation and being able to relate it back to Cleveland and the thought process and what it means for fans of small markets. I think OKC is still the better team at the end of the day. I love the Cinderella story, but how many Cinderella stories end in a championship? I can't think of very many that end with the ring on the finger. It's a great story. We're going to talk
Boston.
about Tyrese Halliburton doing this to our kids one day. John's grandkids potentially, but
hey, I already told you guys the story of Reggie Miller doing it the original time to Spike Lee. Let's not forget
that's
that.
why I said your grandkids, man.
I can guarantee you both I will not be talking to my kids or your kids or grandkids about Tyrese Halliburton doing the choke 20 years from now. No chance.
Well,
you think that's going down in history like Jordan
if the Pacers
shot?
win a championship, I think, yeah, I agree with Noah. Not as big as like Kyrie Irving's shot, but like, bro, yeah.
I said Jordan, but yeah.
No, I was just saying
Craig Elo.
Jordan over Elo was another one, but that wasn't even in the finals. Or they didn't win the final. Well, the Bulls did go on a win, didn't they?
Bulls did, yeah.
That year, I don't think
stopped us.
They stopped us, but they didn't win. They lost to Detroit that year, I think.
No.
Anyway.
Jordan never lost in a finals matchup, so that's impossible. He only went to 6, and he won all 6.
Right. If he lost to Detroit, it would have been the Eastern Conference.
I thought that was the Eastern Conference Finals against us. Is that not right? It doesn't matter.
It was not.
I think it was
the
semis, not that I was there for that, so I can't really.
I think the miracle at Ridgefield came before that. I think the miracle at Ridgefield came before that in the first round. And we advanced to play the Bulls and should have beat them. But regardless, I am certain that was not the Eastern Conference Finals. Of that, I'm sure.
So we have our predictions out there. We have our thoughts. Now let's relate it back to what really matters most to us three, and that is the Cleveland Cavaliers. The train of crazy trades has been running wild all over the internet. I've heard X, Y, Z, crazy this, crazy that. We're going to get into a few of them, but first, I want to ask the question to both of you. Are you willing to trade pieces on this team after what you saw in the postseason, after what you know with Indy making it to the finals? Is it time to maybe trade some pieces depending on what you get? Is it time to...
Period. Okay. Yes. Next question.
I was going to say,
John, what do you think?
If I know my boy E as well as I think I do, he's Googling whether or not that was the Cavs Bulls. So I'm going to let him go and I'll go first because I want to make sure. I said I'm 100% sure and now he's Googling and I'm like 98% sure.
It was the first round, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was either first or second. But okay, so yes. There is no one on this team that's untouchable for the right move. And there are only a couple guys who are untouchable most of the time. That's going to be Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell. Now, it's for the right move. I'm not saying fire sale and start over. I'm not saying this team, if we run it back next year, I won't have a little bit of confidence that they might be able to get over the hump. They don't stink at all. I'm not advocating for a fire sale of any sort. But if you're saying if you can get Giannis in here and it costs you Jared Allen and really pick him, except for Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, for instance, would you do it? The answer is yes. I think we've seen enough of this team to say they're good, but they're a finesse team. And in the Eastern Conference, you still have to be a little bit tough, and we don't have a toughness. There's also an argument to be made that all these guys are D's and 3 guys, except for a couple guys who can penetrate and score, and Mobley and Allen, who are bigs inside. There are better potential fits out there. When I look at a team like Indiana, you could go man for man, roster for roster, position for position, and say the Cleveland Cavaliers are more talented at every position. And we lost in 5 games because Indiana has a team that was constructed as a team and has a lot better fits that play well together. If the GM in the front office, who I trust because they've done a good job so far, can go out and find people who they feel are better fits, even if they're not quite as talented, is that a move you make to try to get over the hump, to get a little tougher, and to get a little bit more of that symbiotic rhythm when teams are really cooking like the Pacers have shown? That's absolutely a move you make. Now, if you say, hey, John, well, are you saying we should trade Mobley and Darius for a first-round pick? No, let's not be stupid. I'm saying for a good move. But absolutely, I haven't seen enough out of this team, even with the core 4, to say no. It's a team you can't break up or touch because they're so close.
That. All right.
Let me jump in, E. Let me jump in just real quick because I think I am the more keep it together out of the 3 of us, even though I've loosened up on that take since they've lost the playoffs. Right.
Yeah.
To me, Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley are absolutely untouchable, in my opinion. I don't care what the offer is, short of something that we'll talk about in a little bit.
Well, wait a minute, though. So don't say they're off limits and then say short of something. They're not off limits then.
Okay, they're 99.5% off limits unless it is the definition of a Godfather deal that's not going to happen in the NBA.
Maybe it won't happen, but I think so far we agree with each other. Keep going.
I just, the way you phrased it, and I know that's semantics, so I'm not going to get into it, makes it feel like, well, if something came across where we get like Giannis, well, I'd give up Donovan Mitchell on that, and I wouldn't. So I think that's where we differ a little bit.
Wait, hold on. Would you give up Mobley for Giannis?
I wouldn't give up Donovan Mitchell for Giannis.
Would you give up Mobley for Giannis?
Yes.
No.
What?
He's too young.
The championship team.
Who are you saying what to, me or him?
To him.
Okay.
Getting Giannis along with Donovan makes us a championship team, period.
Yeah, Noah.
We're not going to get into our own mock scenarios. There's one thing else that I want to put out there real quick that makes me lean into the thought process of, is it the best idea possible to blow up this roster? I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is.
Not.
The Ringer just released their updated top 100. The Ringer, a reputable publication in terms of talking about sports. There are 5 Cleveland Cavaliers on the top 100 list of NBA players right now. DeAndre Hunter at 82, Jared Allen at 57, Darius Garland at 28, Evan Mobley at 17, Donovan Mitchell at 8. This was released today, Wednesday, June 4th.
Can I ask you who number 1 and 2 on that list are?
I would also like to know where Giannis is on the list, please.
Who's 1 and 2 and where is Giannis?
Let me look it up real quick. Why don't you guys bicker and talk a little bit more about Giannis?
I don't think we need to bicker because I think Erik and I are about to hit you with the same thing. But my point is going to be this. When you come back from that list, whoever you list at 1 and number 2 are not both in the NBA Finals right now. So to be a real GM in the NBA, any fool, you could train ChatGPT to go, Here's the all
Well,
212 players
you're wrong.
in the NBA.
Number 2 Shy. Number 1's Nikola. Number 3 is Giannis. Number 4
No,
is
so
Luka.
I'm not wrong. You didn't listen. Nikola Jokic's not in the NBA Finals. That's my
You
point.
said
No,
not
SGA
one or-
is number 2.
I said if you name number 1 and number 2, they're not both in the finals.
Oh,
I get what you're saying.
And
now.
the reason
Okay.
I'm
You
making
weren't
that
wrong.
point is, the reason I'm making that point is any fool who can count can take the NBA power rankings for players and pick the best 5 players off of that list for a starting 5. But what Indiana and frankly OKC have shown us is that is not the best way to build a roster. The super team in Miami might be the only time that worked. You need
Golden
role
State.
players. You need guys to fill out the roster. And just saying, well, we got 5 top 100 players. Well, we got bounced twice in the second
Phoenix
round.
and Brooklyn are the best examples of exactly what you're saying.
Thank you.
Right.
Erik.
100%. No, you're
excellent.
100% correct. Yeah.
So great bully for us for having really good talent, but what does it amounted to?
But here's where I disagree with you a little bit, John, because you said that we don't have a team that can play well together. Are you saying every single game during the NBA season was pointless until we got to the playoffs? Because I just don't think that's true. I think we have a team that played plenty well together. They even shut down the critics that said that Donovan and Garland can't play together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we got bounced because we have a team that is soft and doesn't want it enough. I don't think they're not talented. I think they don't have the drive that the Pacers had.
No, I don't think they gel as well. Like you said, do you think that we don't have a good team or they don't play well together? They do play well together. They don't play perfect together. They don't play great.
But when we're beating
together.
teams by 50, 60 points in the regular season,
John, I think you have some recency bias right now because they were the second best at one time, the best team in the NBA.
It's not recency bias. It's what you guys said to me in reverse from a while ago. And this isn't to bring up old stuff and throw it back.
Right.
I don't think that every single team who ever laces it up has a goal of winning the NBA Finals. But the Cleveland Cavaliers this year did have a goal of winning the NBA Finals, and they didn't do it. So you guys are basing this all off of how fun the regular season was, and I don't disagree. Spectacular show, a three-point shooting barrage, Cavalanche, the snow was coming down. It was fun. What did it net us? Home in the second round for the second year in a row with the best team on paper in the Eastern Conference, which for a team as talented as the Cavs in the second apron is unacceptable. Period.
But just to say we don't gel, you're going too extreme the other way.
It's not that they don't gel. I think this team gels well, and they've continued to show their ability of gelling. We've talked about this at length before with some advanced metrics and stuff, and that stuff can get ticky-tacky.
Also regular season.
Can I go now? You guys both gave your takes on
No,
this.
yes, please. No, please. I'm sorry.
Get Jared Allen the fuck off my team. He's too damn soft. That's number one I'm cutting. Ty Jerome, if he can go get a max deal somewhere, bye. Bye, Felicia. We don't need you.
He's not getting a max deal anywhere.
Not anymore. That's for damn sure.
Right.
Garland, bye. Don't need you. Listen, the fact is that this team does need some work, and the whole Mitchell Donovan era, I think that's over. I think it needs to be over. They played decently together, but having two short-ass guards.
You mean Mitchell Garland? You said Mitchell Donovan, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, Mitchell Garland. Having two short-ass guards in the same starting 5 doesn't work. We've proven that. We don't space the floor well. At least we didn't in the playoffs. I'm not sure why, because we did just fine in the regular season. I think we do have some work to do. To say that the core 4 is untouchable. I know you didn't say that, but that's crazy if that's the take. I think Donovan should be untouchable, assuming we're not getting two of Giannis and Steph Curry somehow. But everyone else other than Donovan, I'm okay if we put the right team together and get rid of them. And I think Kenny will floor a good team too.
So this is a good transition because there's a plethora of different trades that have hit the market. And to back some of what you guys are saying real quick, Chris Fetter, one of the reporters on the Cleveland Cavaliers, say that the Cavs are now more willing to entertain trades for Jared Allen and Darius Garland per himself. So with that in mind, and that's kind of the route that they're potentially taking for the right deal, I have presented and pulled 3 trades that kind of, well, two revolve around Garland and Allen, and then the other one is a crazy one that I think has broken the internet, and I'd like to get our reactions off of it. So the first one was, we're just going to go in chronological order. Darius Garland, there is a trade and a framework that involves Jalen Suggs and Darius Garland. Jalen Suggs, the guard from the Magic. What do we think about a trade like this?
John?
Yeah, just because we have a habit of correcting Noah's English, his name is Chris Fedor. He used to be on the Really Big Show, not Fedor, but that's cool. I think I would probably do it. I think I'd probably do it. When I look at the people who we consider core four and who's the biggest liability, it's Garland. Not only when he's been healthy has he played poorly, but he's not healthy all that often. Yes, because I know we have more to get to. I think I'd probably do it. Suggs is not quite as good, but Suggs is going to be reliable and available. At least
Suggs is also 6'5".
Yeah, I was going to say he's bigger. I think I'm taking size just for that matter.
I didn't know that's all. Holy shit.
Point-wise, Suggs averaged 16.2 a game. Darius was somewhere around 20.6 a game. Yeah, just taking size. Like, I don't think that hurts us that much. Obviously, he's not as good of a shooter, but taking size all day. We need to get something like that for Garland.
He can play that like Nimhard role in a series too, better than Garland, who's like on the bench with a sprained toe for 5 games.
The only issue with Suggs, John, I think you touched on it the wrong way. Suggs has had a lot of injury issues too, as well. That's not to say that he couldn't come here and not have those issues, or vice versa with Garland as well. But he has had his fair share of injury issues in Orlando. He also, just little factual statement real quick, played basketball in my area for a year. He played at Spire with one of my football teammates, which is crazy. And he's also the guy that jumped up on the stage during March Madness when Gonzaga hit that game-winning shot and he hit it. So there's some extra Jalen Suggs information for you. You guys ready for the next trade?
Do it.
Sure.
Would
you do it? Hold on. Did you say if you would do it?
Not for Suggs. I don't think Suggs pushes the needle for me where I would want to do a trade. I would have to see what the other pieces and parts are. If we get more depth out of it, I think it could make sense 100%. But if it was Garland for Suggs straight up, I would hang up the phone personally.
Okay.
Trade number 2, a little more broken down. There is a proposed trade in which the Golden State Warriors would send Moses Moody, Gui Santos, Tracy Jackson Davis, and a projected first-round picks in 26 and 28 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. In return, the Warriors would receive Jared Allen and Craig Porter Jr. via Heavy Sports. I did not 100% verify this one, but it did blow up, so I wanted to cover it nonetheless. I would think that the thought process here is having those picks and Allen's contract off the books to go then make a bigger move. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're getting much out of those players. You're getting some size again in return for Allen, but none of them get me very excited in terms of actual playing. Like you said, the picks and getting Allen's contract off the books, we're pretty far into the luxury. So in order to make moves, things like this probably have to happen. I think I'd be most excited to see Moses Moody if it were me, but it doesn't get me that excited. I will say that Trace Jackson Davis was shot 57% though this past year. Granted, he averaged 6.5 points a game, but still, that's kind of cool. That's a pretty good shooting percentage.
For sure. John.
We had a little bit of depth. You give up 2, you add 3, which is interesting. I think we proved that the bench, a Max Strus is one thing, but relying on guys to consistently come in off the bench and play well, like Ty Jerome, it could burn you sometimes, depending on how you rely on it and how big of shooters they are. I like the size that we'd be getting. To be 100% frank with you guys, too, I don't watch nearly as much Western Conference basketball as East, so I'm not as well versed on him as I was the last trade we discussed. Tell me this: are any of these guys bona fide, legitimate starting centers? Moody, right?
Oh, not really. No.
So
They're
that's
all kind
it.
of role player backup.
And they're kind of
Again-
undersized for centers.
So I don't. That's what makes me. I wanted to check. I didn't think so, but I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth. The thing that irks me about that deal is giving up a starter who's actually an all-star caliber regular season player, even though he didn't show up in the playoffs, to get a bunch of rotation depth guys. I say no to this one. It just doesn't do enough for me.
How tall is Jared Allen? 6'9".
He's
6'11" or 7 foot.
6'9".
He's only 6'9".
No, Jared
Yeah.
Allen's 6'9".
Did you just look it up?
You want to
Pete?
bet dumplings? Oh, a lot of typing and a lot of silence. Here's all you need to know about Jared Allen.
6'9", wingspan 7'6". You're right.
When you
Why does
type
it
in
say that-
Jared
Go ahead,
Allen into Google, the football player comes up. That's all I need to know. Get him off my team. He's too soft. Football player.
Did you
might
spell
actually
Jared
get some
Allen
better.
the wrong way?
Or did you say Josh Allen?
No, Jared Allen of the he's a former football player. He played for 12 seasons and went to 4 Pro Bowls.
How did you spell Jared?
Jared.
It's Jarett for Jarrett.
I know,
Allen.
but that's not the point. Most people are going to spell it how I spelled it.
No.
If you don't know your NBA players, now your face
It
is
was a
red
quick
like
way
you're-
of doing it.
Yeah, right.
Jared
Okay.
Allen-
Face
I
on
don't know.
me, fair enough. But my point stands. Get him off my team.
I don't think I would do this deal either. It entices me a little bit because what would we be doing with those picks? Because I don't think that they would be using those picks. I think they'd be using those in some sort of trade to get something bigger. But yeah, it doesn't push the needle for me as well. Now let's go to crazy insano world. You guys ready?
No.
Bring it.
This is going to be a mouthful.
Oh,
Offer
Jesus.
number 2, Cavs form new star trio in Cooper Flagg, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland. Dallas gets Donovan Mitchell, a first-round pick via the Lakers, a first-round swap via the Lakers, a first-round swap via the Lakers. The Cavs get the number 1 pick this year, Javon Carter, Gabe Vincent, Maxwell Kebler, PJ Washington, Daniel Galladford. The Lakers get Jared Allen. The Bulls get Dalton Knecht, Caleb Martin, second-round picks galore for helping out with this trade be facilitated. Would you do this trade, yes or no?
No.
Obviously not.
Ridiculous.
I will say that getting PJ Washington is my favorite part. I mean, Cooper Flagg, yeah, but I like PJ Washington. Look out. He's probably going to be a Warrior next year at the tune of like $46 million. But no, of course not. You're trading the only guy that is sacrificing everything to fucking win now to get a bunch of maybe and some okays. Like
this reeks of 2 things for me that are Cleveland. One is radio guy who always calls in and goes, first time caller, long time listener. Why don't we just take our entire roster and 7 draft picks and see if we can get, Michael Jordan to come out of retirement? And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, people aren't just going to give up their best player because you put a bunch of shit in a box and shake it up. And because the math works on the NBA trade machine. But the other thing that I don't like about this is if I just had a conversation with you two and Noah got like, not offended, but he hit me with like a, whoa, I wouldn't do that, for saying we would trade Donovan Mitchell for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Why?
No, it wasn't even Donovan. It was
like I was
no, it was Donovan.
But he said Donovan. Yeah, if you won't trade Donovan Mitchell for Giannis, what the hell makes you so excited about Cooper Flagg? Which is the other thing I hate about Cleveland. We overvalue draft picks. We're always too excited about the next thing. Trade Donovan Mitchell for Cooper Flagg. I don't even entertain this.
Shiny new toy syndrome for sure.
Correct. That's why
I wouldn't do this trade. I don't think Kobe Altman would do this trade. And the fact that this came from ESPN as a push notification to Cleveland Cavaliers fans' phones.
Well, it came from ESPN Cleveland, which means it came from the radio.
No, it was posted on ESPN.
What you sent us said ESPN Cleveland.
It was
unless there was a
reposted by
different
ESPN.
post.
The article itself is an ESPN article.
ESPN Cleveland's
ESPN.
part of ESPN, so semantics.
What it doesn't
First
matter.
of all, that That doesn't mean anything. Anybody can put together a trade proposal idea as a writer and post it on ESPN. So they're not giving credence to this, for the record.
Right, but the fact that someone approved that at the end of the day from a big name publication to me is just absolutely.
These headlines actually crack me up because KYC, ESPN proposed a wild Cavs trade. Sports Illustrated, ESPN drops eye-popping trade suggestion. Like, come on, guys. This was meant for clickbait. That's the whole point of that article.
Certainly eye-popping when there's 42 players involved. You have to scroll 3 times to read the whole trade. That's definitely eye-popping.
It is on ESPN, the host, I will give you that.
With me as the host has to be, oh God, this is going to be a mouthful. Let's go. And then goes through the whole trade. That's how you know it's never going to happen. And that's how you know you are getting to the dog days of summer when it comes to sports, my friend.
For sure. You pulled out what the Cavs are getting, by the way. Javon Carter, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and PJ Washington, and Daniel Gafford. You pulled that out of your bag, and you think that's going to happen? Like, whoever put this together was just having fun on one of those trade websites.
It's literally what I said, the ESPN trade machine.
Oh, I missed it.
10 minutes ago, Eric. Thanks for listening. We're having a whole show over here.
ESPN let the intern write his first article ever, and this is the hot filth that they came up with in the end of May 2025. Gentlemen,
they did precisely what they intended to do, and that was there's other freaking news headlines talking about this article. That's all they wanted, and they got it.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Gentlemen, anything else?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Anything else Cavs-wise you want to dive into before we wrap this show up, go to final thoughts and takes?
The only thing I was going to say is that I would not, even if you told me Cooper Flagg was going to be the best player in the NBA in 6 or 7 years, you're still giving up on this window for the draft. That's one of the things too. Like, not only is there no guarantee he's going to be good, but it's going to take time. Even if the dude is the next
you're
Luka,
saying he's going to be the next best NBA player. So we're talking the next LeBron, the next whatever. Maybe LeBron's out there because he's the GOAT, but the next Giannis.
LeBron, but yeah.
You're saying you don't take that? At that point, you have to.
If he's not blowing up, you would be blowing up a championship contender in the current 1 and 2.
We're not contending for shit based on the team I just saw in the playoffs, but go on.
Well, they're a contender. I'm not saying they won it. When you look at the
NBA, definitely a contender. You can't argue that.
Thank you. The second thing I would say is it's going to take him time. My point isn't if he comes out and he's the best player in the NBA next year, then obviously you do it. My point is it's going to take him 5-6 years to get to that level minimum. And that's a long time to wait with the team you blew up just to draft him. You're going to have to do the whole Kyrie Irving thing where you suck for 3 years while he figures it out and then get good again. When all of these guys.
Yeah, that was tough. But the best player, I don't know. It's like when you guys said today, and I didn't know this, that we passed on SGA and could have had him.
Yeah.
Which obviously someone else traded him too. So they did even worse. They had him, but it's hard to know those things. That's fair.
For those of you who want to watch today, the Cavaliers in 2018 took Colin Sexton over SGA, and in 2020 took Isaac Okoro over Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton was also ranked 1 higher on the Ringers list than Donovan Mitchell. Just a fun FYI.
What?
Or what? Yeah.
I thought you said this was what did you call it? Whatever.
A legitimate publication. Yeah. The Ringer is a legitimate
shit with that list.
I think that's right. Wait, you don't think Halliburton's better than Okoro?
No, Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, I thought you said Halliburton was ranked higher than Okoro in that draft.
Yeah, I would hope he's more than one spot
number
ahead of
7
Okoro.
in the top 10 players is Tyrese Halliburton.
Who's 1 ahead of Donovan? No fucking chance. That list is whack.
An argument for another day. Gentlemen, let's wrap it up. Random thoughts, hot takes. Feeling spicy? Are you not? John, what's your hot take, man?
Did you come up with one?
What'd you say? Yeah,
Did you come up with one?
Yeah. Throw out the narrative. Stop listening to what big media says. If you're a fan of basketball, there's no reason you shouldn't be excited about this finals. You don't need LA or NYC in front of the teams playing in this thing for it to be a really good opportunity to see some really good basketball. I know it's not Knicks versus the Lakers or Golden State Cavs, first, second, third, fourth edition, maybe with LeBron in the mix, but these are the two best teams playing the best basketball at this time of year, and they've both had some really good seasons. So tell the national media and the big markets to kiss our ass for once. OKC versus Indiana is going to be a hell of a series. I'm looking forward to watching game 1 tonight and game 2 on Sunday with you fellas at a spot in Lakewood who hasn't paid for ads, so I won't tell them where we're going. But watch the final.
Yeah, or let us host a show there. I
see what you're saying. Yeah. I thought you meant in our we work in marketing and advertising. I thought in like real life you meant, and I'm like, wait, what? I missed that. My bad.
Eric, what's your hot take, man?
I would like to talk about Michael Jordan for a second because we talk about the GOAT debate all the time. And Noah must also want to talk about Jordan.
I do want to talk about Jordan. That's funny.
If I steal yours too, this is going to be wild. We talk about the GOAT debate all the time, and I do fall on the side of overall LeBron is the GOAT. He's the more technical player and well-rounded player. You know, he's going to do every facet of the game. His off-ball stuff's better, whatever. But I've long said that what he lacks is what both Jordan and Kobe had, that, and I know it was Kobe's, but that Mamba mentality. If you could have put that inside of LeBron, he would have won 15 finals probably by now. But one of my favorite stories about Michael Jordan is when he was an owner and not when he was a player. Because Michael Jordan decided that the team that he owned and he was actively a part of, he no longer is, of course, he decided that they weren't doing well enough. So the first thing he did is he decided that they don't get to wear any of his Air Jordan brand. They need to earn that, and they didn't earn it. And that sounds kind of shitty, right? But to emphasize that point, what he did is he went into that gym, he took the second unit, and he beat the first starting 5 as a 50-some-year-old man playing with the next 4. He beat the starting 5, from what I understand, pretty easily too. That is kind of GOAT status. I mean, this man said, you don't get to wear my mark, my shit, because you haven't earned it. And, I'm going to kick your ass with the bench just to prove that you're nobody still. And by the way, I'm like 55 years old. That's just such an insane, and that's such a small piece. Like, you hear these stories about Jordan, but that's insane.
So I also want to talk about Michael Jordan, and that's a great story, but this is kind of on the negative side of Michael Jordan.
Okay.
We all know what NBA 2K is. The most popular, arguably the most popular sports game out, other than maybe NCAA. They have rankings per different attributes, right? So you have your dunk, you have your shot, you have your three-pointer. Michael Jordan's three-point rating in NBA 2K on a scale of 1 to 99. You guys got any guesses of what it could be?
76.
Oh, I would have said like 84, 85.
89. You know how much higher he is overall? This is like the best Jordan, ranked best Jordan in 2K at 3-point shooting than like a prime Damian Lillard, a prime, I think Steph Curry.
Steph would be
a prime KD. Like, it just makes no sense. Prime LeBron James, Miami Heat LeBron James, 81 overall 3-point shot.
That makes
89
sense.
from Michael Jordan. I don't think it does. I think
89?
it is 99.
You're saying it's too high?
Yeah, I'm saying it's too high, comparing it to other big name players, especially in the modern era, who are filthy at the 3-point shot. 89 at 3.
That's crazy. I don't think it should be rated as high as Reggie Miller.
Yeah, right. I don't know where Reggie Miller ranks. I don't have this all written up. It's a final thought or hot take. I just thought 89 was asinine for Michael Jordan.
I tend to agree. Jordan shot around 32% from beyond the arc. Reggie Miller was probably right around 40%. So if he's higher than Miller there, what's Steph Curry? I have no idea.
Steph
I have
Curry
no
should be
idea
90
either.
Steph Curry should be 98. I mean, come on.
In the game, yeah, I was talking actual percentage
Oh,
in real life, NBA. Steph Curry, 42.3%. So beyond the arc career. Yeah, that seems a bit high for Jordan. I agree with that.
For sure. Gentlemen, it's been fun. You guys got anything else you want to talk about?
The only thing I
Anything
would say
that's-
is John's like, I really missed the day when I watched and they didn't have a 3-point line.
And on that note, thank you for tuning in to At the Office, show where we talk all things sports. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the download button if you're listening to the audio only version of our show. Check us out on all socials at the Office CLE. That's on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, you name it, we're on it. Have a great day, night, whenever you're watching, really. And until next time, Cleveland, we really appreciate you tuning in. Stay up, stay blessed.